All right, hello everyone. Welcome. We're going to do a little something different in this session today. This is not our normal market recap or anything that we do. I'm going to start to do these a little bit more frequently, but what I'm going to do today is we're going to go through charts and some market profile on what I'm looking at. We're going to really cover the big 4 or 5 and the futures, but then we're going to get into looking at some stocks, and we're going to look at a bunch of charts on stocks. Yes, I said stocks. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on that today. We do have a service separate from the Income Navigator service called Active Trader. We do have some great people in there. Gabe does fantastic stuff with volume profiling and trading and scalping, mostly ES futures and futures. Igor, my partner, is in there, and he is trading a lot of different stocks, swing trading and so forth. So Igor's over there as well. And then I'll pop a couple of stocks in there as well, and some different trades for people to take a look at. But Active Trader is a lot different than the standard Income Navigator stuff. I am not a huge fan of stocks, as you know. Don't own any stocks in any of the trading portfolios that I have, and nothing that we do in Income Navigator. I did violate my own personal rule today. I dropped a leap on Boeing in there as soon as I saw the CEO stepping down today and the chairman of the board both resigning. I wanted to be long Boeing. So normally I don't trade stocks, but I could not pass up that trade. They have run this company into the ground. Literally, they need to go. It needs to be a culture shift and a culture change at Boeing, and you got that today. So then, unfortunately, they're going to stick around at least till the end of the year. But I'm hoping that as they start to find new blood in there, they can really get their act together, and we can stop having doors and pieces of wings and fuselage flying off mid-flight for Boeing. If they just get their act together, it's a fantastic company, one of the best out there. So let's dive into some market profile now. And I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. So let me go ahead and share. And we're going to do a little different trade setup. Let me put me off the video here for you. I'm going to go to a 3-panel. Hopefully this is not too much for you when you're watching it on, hopefully your iPad or your phone or something there. But there's 3 panels here, and we're going to start with ES. But this first panel is a monthly, the middle's a weekly, and then this far right one is a daily chart. All right, so that's what we're looking at here. And I like to get a sense of what everything's doing. So we start with the monthly, and what's the overall trend? Well, right now, the trend in ES is bullish. So you can see definitely a nice bullish uptrend here on the monthly. Down here, you've got a squeeze firing to the upside. You're getting overbought. So we're just starting to enter the overbought area, but MACD is rising. So overall, pretty bullish, except for the fact that we're getting a little overbought, which is not the worst thing in the world. And we're right up to 3 ATR on the monthly. So monthly, very bullish. We take a look at the weekly. This is pretty doggone bullish. So this is just a straight up rocking rally that the S&P has been in. However, when we look at the underlying technicals here, yeah, we're above the 3 ATR, and we stayed above it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, now 9 weeks. So we've been, and you can almost count that as a 10. So almost 10 weeks above the 3 ATR level. So pretty overextended. You can see how overbought we really are. And the last time we were overbought by this amount was about 6 years ago, and we had a pretty good sell-off after that. So we are quite a bit overbought on the weekly chart. But looking here, okay, RSI way overbought, and then the squeeze momentum has been dropping for 4 weeks in a row. So while we have been climbing, the momentum seems to be slowly coming out of the market. And we're over the 3 ATR level, which I think we're going to have to get back inside. All right, and then if we look at the daily here, we're obviously in a pretty good bullish uptrend. Everything is stacked, bullish PSAR, everything is nice here, but you've got, counting today, 2 down days in a row coming off the all-time high. You're starting to see maybe a little bit of a turnover in MACD, RSI, and the squeeze here. So long-term, pretty bullish. Weekly, still decently bullish, and daily, while it's bullish, I feel like we're just running out of steam. So caution should be really taken if you're going to get long anything or getting long the S&P here. I think this is really going to set us up to get back into strangles, which we have stayed out of all year long. All right, so number 2 for me here is let's take a look at oil. So I love oil, one of my favorite underlyings to trade. So here's the oil futures. Same thing. Let's get through this thing from a monthly standpoint. We've been in on oil. We've been in a bit of a downtrend here. So overall, we've been in a downtrend, except for the last 3 months have been in an uptrend. So you've got this triangle pattern that we're getting in. Now, the squeeze is starting to, lose its downward momentum. We're starting to gain momentum both on the MACD, the RSI, and the squeeze. So momentum is to the upside. We've been in a bullish PSAR mode for quite a while now, for several months. And we're in a really tight squeeze. So the yellow dot, which would be black for most of the people using Squeeze Pro, I just find that I can't read the black dots as easy. That's an extreme squeeze. So that's a really tight squeeze forming here. And you can see that we are just sitting right on all of these moving averages. We're in this triangle. So squeezing, but moving to the upside on the monthly. If we look at the weekly here, bullish uptrend, even though longer term is the bearish, you've got a nice bullish uptrend going on here with squeeze happening. So we're squeezing on this time frame as well, moving to the upside with momentum. MACD, RSI both rising, breaking above we've bounced off the 21 EMA and we're moving higher, breaking through this ascending wedge pattern. So still in a triangle overall from the monthly standpoint here, but I think really good bullish move here in a squeeze. And then if we look at the daily, this thing has been really just sideways consolidating as it broke out of the ascending triangle that you're in. Now, you've got MACD pulling back a bit and squeeze pulling back for a couple sessions, but then today bouncing back. So I think it's just a good, nice little pullback right to about the 9 EMA, and then maybe we start to resume higher. I like where we are. I'm bullish in oil. Our latest oil trade was we put on a naked put trade. We put on a strangle trade a little bit before that, and then we've got multiple 112 trades on. So I like where we are in oil. That looks pretty doggone bullish to me. So let's take a look here at bonds, another favorite of mine. Let's just take a look at all of the time frames that we have working on bonds and what's going on. All right, so you can see here on the monthly, we have just been in a nice downtrend on the monthly and bearish on the PSAR signals. You've got the 9 below the 21, below the 50, below the 200 here. Everything's falling on the monthly, but underlying that, you've got MACD trying to rise and the squeeze momentum to the downside been trying to reverse a bit. And you can see that really we've been moving sideways now for the most part for the better part of a year on the monthly. If we take a look at the weeklies here, definitely you're in this downtrending channel. Everything is lower here, but you're sitting right at the 21 EMA, just barely below it, with MACD falling but flat, RSI pretty much flat, and then the squeeze, the momentum just came out of any upside move that you had here. Squeeze, the momentum is to the downside. So right now, you've got really bearish, pretty much bearish here as well. And then if we go to the daily, it's also bearish in this downtrending channel. But from an underlying standpoint, pretty flat on the MACD and trying to improve, RSI trying to climb. And then the squeeze is now back into a pretty tight squeeze range that we have. And you can see we're all bunched up here with every major moving average. Big day Friday, down day today. I think this bodes well for bonds. I think bonds are really set up for strangles and 112s here. And that's exactly what we're trading. We've got a strangle on for the last 11 days. That's up 13%. We've also got another strangle up, I should say another ratio spread up 62% and some 112s. So overall, I like where we are, trying to make this improve, but just flat strangle, good opportunity. And then if we take a look at gold as well, let's get the right symbol in. Taking a look at gold on the 3 different time frames. Gold has been overall in a bullish mode here on the monthly. You can see the squeeze fired to the upside. So we got the squeeze fired. You got MACD rising here, and you've got RSI rising with all of your moving averages stacked and rising and separating a bit. Gold often running for the month, having a really good breakout month out of this ascending wedge pattern, ascending triangle pattern, I should say. If we hone into the weekly, same thing. You've got MACD, RSI, and the squeeze momentum all rising. But squeeze, you are in a squeeze right now. So we're squeezing again. Even though we had this big up move and we're consolidating a bit here, we're squeezing again on this after this breakout. Good bullish trend to the upside. In fact, we could probably even take this piece off and just have a little bit less out there to watch. And then if we're looking at the daily chart here, on the daily, you can see the momentum's been pulling back ever since we made the big breakout here. It's just been consolidating, some bearish PSR, some bullish PSR, MACD's dropping off of way overbought levels, starting to fall a bit, and then the squeeze, the momentum is just coming out as we just consolidate sideways here. So I think this is setting up really as a decent little, flag pattern here for the most part. Maybe tighten it up just a fraction. So big move up, consolidating in a nice flag pattern. We tried to make that break. We didn't succeed. Maybe we'll get moving again in here, but everything is stacked, so it looks pretty good. So long-term bullish, medium-term still bullish with a nice flag pattern. And here and daily kind of mixed sideways consolidation right now. I think ready for another run higher. I like gold in here to keep moving higher. Let's take one more futures trade here and let's look at copper, and let's look at it on multiple time frames as well. So when we take a look at copper overall, you've got a sideways trend, but look underneath the hood here. You got this month. Okay, we've got the PSR flipped to bullish this month. So we got a PSR bullish signal this month. RSI has been rising. MACD's been pretty much just flat. And the squeeze downward momentum has been changing. You're in a squeeze moving to the upside. So I like copper on the monthly. I'm going to call it a bit bullish here. If we look at the weekly chart on copper, I think this is bullish as well. We're moving higher with this, but really MACD's kind of not getting itself going too much. Big breakout, good pullback last week, and then let's see where we go this week. This will be important to see. Can we continue to move it higher? We are in a squeeze, which could mean more continuation to the upside. So if we hone in a little bit more on the daily chart, you can see again, momentum's been coming out just like all the others. You were big move up, overbought RSI, peeling back on the RSI, the MACD, and the squeeze momentum, all the momentum coming down, but you're still in a bullish uptrend that held today. You're right above the 21 EMA, and you were above the 21 EMA on all 3 time frames. So that's all bullish to me. I think copper sets up well for some decent 112 and long trades. And I think you could also consider it for a strangle trade as well. So lots of things going on there. Let's dive into some stocks. And I want to take a look at some stocks today. I'm going to just pick a handful for you that we're going to review. Apple looks absolutely terrible. So if we're looking at Apple here, and again, this we've got this published in the Active Trader service. But so I did publish several of these charts, but I think Apple overall looks pretty, really, looks pretty ugly, I think. Sideways to lower consolidation. So you got RSI falling, MACD falling. You're sitting right at the 21 EMA. So overall, sideways to a bit of a bearish current move on this one. We're not far from triggering a bearish PSAR signal on the monthly. If we look at the weekly, weekly has definitely been in a downtrend. You've been in a weekly downtrend for really 3 months now. Bearish PSAR below the, you've got the 20, we're well below the 21. The 9's breaking below the 50. The 9 already broke the 21. You got the 21 heading down to the 50. Can we find some support down in here? Yeah, that's absolutely very doable. But, squeezing to the downside a bit, RSI falling, not a good looking chart. And then if we switch over to the daily here as well, this thing's been in a downtrending pattern now again for about 3 months of time, continues to stair step its way down with lower lows, lower highs, MACD rolling over, RSI falling, but the squeeze momentum not really accelerating to the downside. So is it running out of steam to the downside here? Maybe. So I think we're getting close, which could signal that this support area here and about this 166 area, 165 area could potentially be an opportunity to jump into Apple. So there's where we are on Apple. I wanted to look at Amazon. Same types of things. We'll look at 3 different time frames on Amazon. This has been in a solid bullish trend dating all the way back to the beginning of 2023. So back to January of 23, this is where this thing really got going and very few hiccups at all. So strong monthly to the upside, still continuing, getting close to overbought, but not there yet. MACD squeeze, everything is pointing to big upsides here on Amazon. If we take a look at the weekly chart, it's starting to cool off a little bit as it's finding a little bit of resistance up in here around the 181 level, which is its current highs. But that's starting to form a nice little ascending triangle here. Now, you've got momentum coming out. You're overbought on Amazon. So overall, I think this consolidation's been well needed. Maybe a bit of a flag pattern. If nothing else, after this big move up, we'll see, because it stayed here a little bit longer. But right now, it's still the momentum is to the upside from a chart standpoint, but it looks like it's running a little bit out of momentum at the top here, which would then bring us over to the daily and a very clear ascending triangle pattern. MACD's trying to get moving. RSI is trying to build up a bit, and you can see we have entered a squeeze with a little bit of upward momentum. So squeezing to the upside, again, right back, closing today at the top of this triangle. A breakout here for Amazon could get us long. So I am looking at this trade in the active trader service. If we see a break here, I will probably get long with a butterfly trade or something along those lines. All right, so there's Amazon. Another stock I wanted to take a quick look at here is on ARM. So taking a look at this, that hasn't been around a long time, but it's been in a pretty solid up move on the monthly. The weekly has been in a good uptrending pattern, but it looks like it's had a big run and some consolidation here and a bit overbought. I think where I want to turn the attention to is we've got another ascending triangle pattern really starting to form here on ARM. MACD is reversing higher. RSI starting to move higher. In fact, I want to get the 50 on the RSI plugged in here so we can see how we're reacting to the 50 line. Okay, let's make it our usual so we can easily call this thing out. So we came down, we bounced off it, we're heading higher, and maybe with today's, we're in a squeeze. The squeeze momentum was to the downside, but the stock was not going to be falling. And now maybe a bit of a reversal on today's little kind of gap up move. Now we finished off the highs of the day, but I think ARM's an interesting case here. Maybe we run up to this resistance, everything seems a little bullish on ARM. All right. Another stock to take a quick look at here is Palo Alto, favorite stock of many in the cybersecurity space. Taking a look at the monthly. The monthly has been in an uptrend, continues to be in an uptrend, but the last 2 months have definitely seen the momentum coming out of the market. So tipping over the last 2 months, RSI coming down from overbought, MACD falling, squeeze tipping over. So let's take a look at the weekly. Same thing. You can see big dip here weekly on earnings. So a huge move, gap down on earnings, big gap, trying to recover itself and just find some footing in here. Still a good company. MACD is bullish or bearish, I'm sorry. The RSI has been a bit bearish, but trying to hold in lately, the last couple weeks, and then the momentum has been coming out. No squeeze right now. But if we look at the daily, we've got this overhead gap. We've managed to put in some support here. So I think we'll keep an eye on this. We've got this descending wet triangle here that we did not break. We broke out to the side and upside here. MACD's really been rising. RSI is kind of non-committal and squeeze after even a couple of days of pullback. It's still in a squeeze, and the momentum's been moving to the upside. So I do like Palo Alto here. I think potentially selling call spreads below this might be a good opportunity for Palo Alto. And if you're following me on Twitter, most of these stock charts are going to be posted on Twitter. So you can see what we do there, but they're all in the active trader service as well. Another one that I thought was really interesting here was Walmart. All right, taking a quick look at Walmart, been in a monthly uptrend for a while now. So this has been in a solid uptrend. So since, again, about April of last year, this thing's just been nicely trending higher in a beautiful monthly up pattern. So we've moved really from about 40 all the way to 60. So really a 50% move in the last year and a half. So not too bad for Walmart. If we zoom in on the weekly chart here, you can see we've run into just a little too far, right? So you can see on the RSI, overbought, above the 3 ATR level here, overbought, starting to tip over this week, I should say. So last couple sessions, tipping over. So let's take a look. We can see that we're overdone. And if we look over here on the daily, you can see that we triggered today a bearish PSAR signal. Okay, so we triggered bearish PSAR, broke down through the 9, heading to the 21. MACD is accelerating to the downside. The squeeze has been heading down, and the RSI has been heading down. In fact, let's get our 50 marker in so that we can gauge. As we get close to that 50, and we seem to be falling with some decent momentum, sometimes to me, that's a really good indication that, I don't want to be first in any moves, but I don't mind being just a tad late to this move, but it's heading towards this 50, and it's heading there pretty well. Another down day or two in the markets or on Walmart, I think would really, really help the case for this particular stock. So that's where we are on Walmart. And one last one to pop up for you guys, and that's Uber. Let's take a look at Uber. Uber has been in an Uber up move from 25 to 75, so a 3x move in the last year and a half on Uber. So great upside move. But you can see these dots are getting farther and farther apart, which means this thing continues to accelerate to the upside. MACD, RSI, and squeeze all rising, but it is overbought in here. And if we look over here on the weekly chart, we have been outside the 3 ATR, but it's rising, so that's okay. But this is really setting up with a ascending triangle pattern, and you're pulling back. So if we can get a little bit more of a pullback, I don't know, maybe to somewhere between 70 and 75, that might invalidate this uptrend. We'll see. In fact, I can probably pull this uptrend all the way down to here. If this uptrend holds to the upside, then I think we could be in good shape. I'm going to be watching this ascending triangle pattern that we've got on Uber. As we look at the daily, MACD's been reversing higher, RSI has been moving higher, you're in a squeeze with the momentum moving back to the upside, and all of your moving averages are stacked with a bullish PSAR reversal. So this looks good as well. Another ascending triangle. Question is, do we break resistance on a bunch of these trades, or do we fail to the downside? So right now, I like the downside look in Walmart. I like some of the other moves that we're seeing here on some of these trades that I'm calling out for you. So anyway, not something I do in my Income Navigator main account. I'm mostly a premium seller. However, you can use premium selling strategies to actively trade stocks. It's not my forte in trading stocks. However, looking at some of these trades, I think they're really setting up for some good opportunities. So we want to make sure we're sharing these with you as well. Not everybody loves premium selling for the intermediate term, like we're doing with our strangles and our 112s and all of our 90-day, 120-day trades, 60-day trades. There's also move and money to be had in some shorter term swings out there. So that's what we're looking at here. Wanted to bring these to you. We'll share that out. If you're interested in the active trader service, we'll put a link down below in the comments. All right, take care, everybody, and we will see you later. Appreciate you joining us for this little foray into stocks and market profiles. We'll keep doing this a little bit more as we go forward, maybe once or twice a week. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.